Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland, Moorish, Release Fall, Shalon Davis, check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth. Trust me, they only sound the great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority. Why you so late? Majority rules. Here comes the test fact. That's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a boom that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a more that is easy to digest. Competent, never tyrannious. That is my land, never faking. Sacred traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland, support more. Everybody needs more. If you please more, following the apostle, we should read more. I see the unseen more. More, that's a fact. Candyland.
They say they want to learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland, Moorish, Release Fall, Shalon Davis, check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth. Trust me, they only sound the great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority. Why you so late? Majority rules. Here comes the test fact. That's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a boom that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a more that is easy to digest. Competent, never tyrannous. That is my land, never faking. Sacred traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland, support more. Everybody needs more. If you please more, following the apostle, we should read more. I see the unseen more. More, that's a fact. Candyland.
They say they want to learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling haram when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. Eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars, got him cocooning as the full moon hung, spiral energy moving up through the crown chakra. Energy shooting and told me upload classes before live YouTubing. 16,000 subscribers, 20% consuming, 80% troll pretending to be tuned in. Comment on every video, pushing the thumbs down. We'll push the link when we live just like a clown. Pouring in the incompetence, always debating. Dissing True Ali, but won't give their location. His image on the black banner, that's placation. Just get him out of here, Yusuf yells in frustration. We know they're playing games, we're not berating. Calling 911, scimitars penetrated. In defense of prophets and mothers abused. And newly awakened Moors, amused and confused.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland, Moorish, Release Fall, Shalon Davis, salute. House. Check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth. Trust me, they only sound great. Any nationality before you question my estate. Northgate. H2O flow. Sheik, Canaanland Moorish. Release fall. Shalon Davis, salute. House. Check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth. Trust me, they only sound great. Any nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority. Why you so late? Majority rules. Here comes the test fact. That's my hand in the form of a feet on the chest. That's a boom that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a more that is easy to digest. Competent, never terrenilian. That is my land, never faking. Secret traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland, Tomohawk more. Everybody needs more. If you please more. Following the apostle, we should be more. I see the unseen more. We more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they want to learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling haram when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. Eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars, got him cocooning as the full moon hung spiral energy moving. Up through the crown chakra, energy shooting and told me upload classes before live YouTubing. 16,000 subscribers, 20% consuming, 80% troll pretending to be tuned in. Comment on every video, pushing the thumbs down. We'll push the link when we live just like a clown. Pouring in the incompetence, always debating. Dissing True Ali but won't give their location. His image on the black banner, that's vacation. Just get him out of here, Yusuf yells in frustration. We know they're playing games, we're not berating. Calling 911, Shimata's penetrated. In defense of prophets and mothers abused. And newly awakened Moors, amused and confused.
They all know. There's no contract. I'm just downtown.
Bone thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up the spots we got to drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project cars, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Bound to my sires. Past life flash right by us. Spike your food so you can't digest. I can't digress. Shining on vampires who can't process. The moon over campfires. We on the move, breaking rules, no they can't tie us. Can't buy us. Manila envelope deniers. Control times, haters still clocking. Got dirty Moors trying to resurrect the chauffeur, the real prophet. They trying to get the profit like a dollar sign and brackets. Game of tennis, nigga. I'm just here to make the racket. These crooked governments got royalties and cuffs, and all we got is nationality. Like art inside a gallery, so pardon my mentality. Bloodline stretching like an empire. That's all the way from Barbary to Tartary. My mind's ecclesiastic. Prophets show me proofs inside the circle 7. Asiatic, we not Negro, black or color. Don't thuggin', not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up the spots we got to drop, they never paid attention. No about the pissing, dirty project cars, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, backed up on my ammunition, backed up all this competition. They don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. All my time he taking copy by the minute. Got these shots for spinning.
7 in the quadrants, G between the compass square. squared Samson between Boaz and Yochum. Never scared, ships arrive in thousands. We are not alone the way some think. I think they are not us but clones. Looking up drones, staring back, got track 5G phones, implants, check their heads and their backs. Adam's apple big, what kind of female is that? Eyes color change like a chameleon, plus underweight tracks. Why you sticking out sideborn holes, Miss Frankenstein? No protection needed, self-lubricating vagina. So anthropomorphic, can go for more dick than he can give it. An android goes livid. Skynet is NSA, surveillance is global. Since refusal to be noble, force creed is Constantinople. Force GMO, nanotech, air clouds. Sound weapons, heart attack guns for non-social distance crowds.
Wrong thugging, nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots we got the drop, they never paid attention. No pot to pissing, dirty project cars, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition, backed up all this competition. They don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. All my time he taking, copy by the minute. Got these shots for spinning.
We heard. Don't have to go to Mars This is what you need to know. What you need to know, fellas. Ladies. What you need to know.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day, Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day, independence and law, makes it a little lost case. With case laws, we bring them down like Jericho, keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Face, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets took me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorry, ripping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Hand over door, I'm in plain sight. The people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, dipping slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day, Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day, independence and law, makes it a little lost case. With case laws, we bring them down like Jericho, keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Face, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets took me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorry, ripping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Hand over door, I'm in plain sight. The people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death, dipping slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris or Mark, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, Negus appearing real. All all I see is false evidence. VA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance, apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with more veiled shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors present Common Sense Quickie. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations, or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
These Moors. What's good with the Moors? Slam to all the Moors who study. Slam to all the Moors who put this info out. Honest to all the Moors who put this info out. Honest to all Moors. Oh yeah, we gotta just do this one.
Wow. This shit is not as real. This shit real, right? Mm-hmm. This shit real, right? This shit real. Listen. Look it. Let me show y'all how real this shit is. Let me show y'all how real this shit is. Do you trust me with your life? Are you afraid of me? Look, y'all. This shit real. Put this bitch on the news. This is my house. I own all this shit. Put this shit on the news. I'll pull my dick out on this motherfucker. Put this shit.
What? This ain't what?
Yes, it is. That's y'all boy. Stop playing. That's y'all boy. Stop playing. Y'all know that's y'all boy. Y'all know that's y'all boy. So stop the BS. Oh yeah. Honest to brother Kasir last night. Effing him up for hours. Effing him up. Just have him on the ground. Just pummeling him just because. Just because. Just pummel him. Whole face caved in. Because you want to debate Moors. Don't debate Moors, debate the facts. Don't get mad because Moors are standing up to you cowards. Don't get mad. Because like we asked them on IG, y'all don't look like Hindustanis. Y'all don't look like Hindustanis. Y'all look more like these. This is how y'all look. Are you Black, Indian, Cherokee, whoever did your genealogy and all that stuff? You look like these guys right here. This is who you look like. You don't look like these people. You don't look like them. You're not Hindustani. You're not Indian. You can't be Indian. You tell me about what your grandma and you talk to your grandma, so that's how you know who you are? Get the hell out of here. You don't think your grandma could be a dumb nigger? She calling herself Indian. She's probably a dumb nigger. More than likely. If you're telling me we have a right to self-determination, so what's your nationality? American. No, you don't have a right to self-determination. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because that fake stuff you're talking about is a nationality is not a nationality. That fake stuff that you're calling a nationality isn't a nationality. And everybody knows the Olmecs were indeed Malian Moors. The Mayans were descendant from the Malian Moors.
You're telling me that some indigenous people that's indigenous to Africa sailed across the Atlantic Ocean and came to America and they're not indigenous anymore? How? How are they not indigenous? If you're the only individual in the house, how are you paying rent or paying mortgage to yourself? Would you pay yourself a mortgage if you had a house? Would you sit down with yourself at a table and say, hey, you want to live here? Well, you're going to have to fill this paper out. The terms and conditions is a tenant-landlord agreement. You probably wouldn't. So why would you think that some people from indigenous over there aren't indigenous over here if they're the only people on the planet? Do you know what it means to put 200 boats in the water to go somewhere? You don't know what that means, do you, TP niggers? You TP niggers don't know about that stuff. You powwow niggers. You don't know about that stuff. You don't know about put 200 boats in the water. You don't know about have a rock named after you. You don't know about any of that. All you know about what your grandma said, who lives down the block. That's all you're telling me? That's all you know? What your grandma said? That's all you know? What she said? You went and did the genealogy and you're going what that said? How are you looking at this face right here? These people are called Moors. They're from Mali. They're known as the first people of the Americas. They're from Mali. If they're known as the first people of the Americas, if they're the oldest civilization in the Americas, and they're from Mali, how are they not indigenous here? This is what Noble Drew Ali is talking about. When our people were the ones that humbled these wild animals and dinosaurs and whatever else. Right? They showed you the Medusa movie. That was the Moors with the blue flame scepter, turbans up, jalabia, staff and all that. Humbled the scorpion, got these Moors riding scorpions, giant scorpions, because the Moors. The Moors the only one that could look Medusa in her eyes or whatever, because we don't have any eyes. How come everybody else turned to stone and the Moors could look at Medusa in her eyes with no effects? You're telling me those people left there with their own boats, went to some other land across an ocean or a river or whatever it was at the time, humbled all the animals there, started civilization there, and they're not the indigenous people? People are a bunch of idiots. That's what you are. You're just some niggers that know how to push live now. So because you know how to push live now, you're just talking crazy. You're talking crazy. You're out of your mind. I don't know the name of the Moors that you've been dealing with, but we don't know what you people are talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, we have no idea what you're talking about. Olmecs aren't indigenous to the Americas. How? They're the founders of America. How are they not indigenous? Who was in America before the Olmecs? Who? Tell me. Tell me some people who were. The Olmecs are Malian Moors. Sea people. People want to play dumb, but they didn't call themselves Moors. But the sea people, they were dark-skinned people. And they're from Mali. And they wore turbans and stuff like that. So they're Moors. They're Moors. Why are they Moors? Because they're dark-skinned people. Period. You going anywhere else? You talking about anything else? Pfft. Not hearing you. You're just an idiot. Just an idiot talking. And we use idiots for examples. And we use idiots for examples to show that we know what we're talking about. We're not assuming things, and everybody else knows what we're talking about. Everybody else knows what we're talking about. Right? Buffalo Bills, Wild Wild West. And Congress of Rough Riders of the World. Buffalo Bill, they're from Django, the little goatee and stuff. There's the Indian guy, right, with the feathers, riding horse with no saddle and all that. You have the Mexican there, got the Turk, whoever there. And then right here, right next to the Indian, you got this one. You got his scimitar right there. He has his cape, hood, horse decked out, tassels everywhere. So yeah, we know there's a separation between the Moors and the Indians. We know that. We know that. We're not confused. It's how not confused we are. It's how not confused we are. Best undergraduate dissertations of 2010. Simon Shaw, Moors in Mesoamerica, the impact of Al-Andalus in the New World. Moors in Mesoamerica. Moors in Mesoamerica. Dissertation. Dissertation. Why is an undergraduate doing a dissertation on Moors in Mesoamerica? How come they didn't do it on some Indian whatever? They didn't do it on some Indian thing? So we're gonna put these things together. because we really want to, you know, if we're playing dumb nigger and we just found out about, oh wow, I'm not black, I didn't come over on a slave ship. Well then, what are you? And then you're looking at some Indians over here that look like you, and they're saying whatever they're saying, and then some Moors over here that look like you, and the Moors are saying whatever they're saying, right? The Indians over here, they didn't give you one reference point yet. Didn't give you anything to go research yet. The Moors over here, they've been telling you that you're not Negro black colored for 100 years. They've been telling you that you're not Indian because nobody draw all these Cherokee and all that stuff. So we're not even going into no Indian stuff. Because our prophet said that we're Moors and he's Cherokee. And if he's not saying that he's Cherokee, he's Moors, then we're riding with that we're Moors. Forget being Cherokee. And we're saying Simon Shaw, Moors in Mesoamerica, the impact of Al-Andalusia in the New World. So you can make a decision.
Hey man, it's no disrespect to the actual MSTA. I have nothing to do. They do their thing as a religion and they move a certain way. But it's to these.
That's a lie, because we're MSTA, and you don't respect what we're telling you. You want to debate stuff. We're MSTA. We have a charter. We have a building called Moorish Science Temple of America with a phone number, a website connected to the building. So everybody knows for the past 12 years we've been MSTA. Everyone knows we've been MSTA. That's all we ever been from the start. Haven't been anything else than MSTA. Now we know this is not religious. We know this is the Moorish Regency. We know this is equivalent to what some people would say is an embassy for whatever nation they are. That if they have a situation, they're going to go to that spot. They ain't going anywhere else. It's supposed to be the same thing for Moors. In every jurisdiction, city, town, county, state, whatever like that, there's supposed to be one of those. So that if anything goes down, like these people talking crazy about, you know what I mean, you got to go get this and that, whatever like that. You can go to your regency and they're going to have, you know, some type of exemption or something for you. Already prepared. All you got to do is put your name on it. Bring it back. They seal it and you go about your business. That's not religious. That's not religious. That has absolutely nothing to do with religion. That's right to self-determination. What these people are trying to tell you, right to self-determination, is UCCs and have offshore bank accounts and all this. Now you need an offshore bank account. You can't even leave the goddamn place where you're at right now. You going offshore. How are you getting access to that if you can't go anywhere unless you're gonna get the you got the shot so you can okay. All right. Well, we see how you people are playing. We see how you're playing. All right. You see how you people are playing. That's what you're playing? That's where you're playing, huh? Think everything's going to be happening online like that, like they're telling you? As soon as everybody's online, they're going to pull the plug. And all you people are going to be done for, crying about all your online stuff that you fucking lost. because you put all your eggs in one basket like a dummy. You already know you're not supposed to put all the eggs in one basket. That's basic lessons. You abandon that, just throwing eggs in there just because. All right. You should have learned already, but you're still not learning. No problem.
Off-breed people, y'all need to get this shit in line, bro. That's all we saying, because these people stepping on our bloodline, bro. Y'all are a church, and if the Christians can do their thing and every other religion can do their thing, you can do your thing too. But something is wrong where we got niggas standing out there holding Moroccan flags, doing all this extra shit. We need to see what the fuck going on, man, before y'all get us in trouble as a people. For y'all affiliating us, y'all out here, the Hebrews like talking about they gonna slay motherfuckers, got motherfuckers kissing their shoe, doing all this terrorist shit. And then when we get stumped down on, y'all gonna be talking about, look at this, look at that. You doing it. You are a part of it. There's so many ways we can get ourselves together and get our funding from we sitting around.
No, there isn't. There's so many ways to get anything. No, there isn't. The only way is to nationalize. Everybody else has done that. No other people are saying, those ones over there are saying they're indigenous, that's their nationality, they're American. Those ones over there are saying that they're Moors, that's their nationality. Those ones over there are saying that they're Jamaican and Trinidadian, Tobagonian, Bayesian, Guyanese, and they're saying all this stuff. No one else does that. Only North America does that. There isn't a bunch of Brazilians looking at some other Brazilians telling them that, oh, what you're doing is religious. You won't find that with any other nationality. Only Moorish American nationality will you find it that there's a nation of people, but the nation of people are calling themselves all these different things instead of what they should be calling themselves, which is Moors. And then they're coming out talking as if what they're claiming is something legit that people look at in the world and respect. Nobody respect any Indians. Who respects Indians? They're savages. This is not some, we started something yesterday and we want people to join it. The bloodline is the Moorish nationality. That's the bloodline that you're talking about. Connect to your bloodline and all that, and you're telling about some genealogy. That's tribal. What John Henry Clark said, you have to be something big in the world. Cherokee, Chippewa, Lenape, whatever, that's not big in the world. That's limited to North America, South America. That's limited to there. Olmecs, that's worldwide. Everybody knows they're Malians. And everybody knows what Mali did for the world. It's not a secret. But you're not going to tie to that. You're going to tie to some Moors, some Olmecs, who start calling themselves Indians and Mayans and all this other stuff. Start going doing deals with foreigners and all this. And then now in 2021, they're coming out talking about, see the Moors. Or, no, y'all are Moors. What are you talking about? Y'all are Moors. Y'all are Indians. You're not Cherokee and Chippewa. You're not that. You're not Black Indians. That's not what you are. All of these people are Moors. All of them are Moors. They look like an Olmec, they're a Moor. And if they're not claiming that they're Moors, they're a fraud. And they need to be excommunicated or exiled, or something has to be done with them. Because that's the problem You know the Negro problem is these people. Not James Baldwin and people who call people black. That's not the Negro problem only. These people are also the Negro problem. Fake Indians. Faking. Tell me about some genealogy, that's why you are who you are. But a Moor is any dark-skinned person. You're dark-skinned, but you're not Moor. But your genealogy says you're whatever. Genealogy says you're this. Lodge says you're a Mason. Whatever says that you're whatever, but you're not Moors. But you're all these other stuff connected to Moors. This is dumb. Why are they doing this? Unless they work for the other side to keep the confusion going. To keep the confusion going. Right? They're talking about Moors for clickbait for customers. They're talking about Moors as clickbait for customers. They don't care about people who don't want to learn. Because they're just going to use them as a base for their whole economic whatever it is that they're doing. Because they know those dumb people. We already know those people are what they're going to do. We're concerned about the 1 or 2 of you out there who see that your conditions could be better, and you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that they're better. Especially if you have posterity. If you have heirs, you're going to bring them up in the same Negro, black, colored, African, Indian BS that you know nothing came out of any of that. And that Moorish paradigm is new. Oh, well, let me try this new thing to see if this is where the stuff is. That ain't what's going on. So you heard those jokers talk, right? You heard those jokers talk. So let's hear what Shaw has to say. Because remember, don't debate Moors. Page 12. The blurring of Indian and Moor was not limited to architectural expression, but also arose in dramaturgy. A play entitled The Conquest of Jerusalem, organized by the Mendicant Orders of Tlaxcala in 1539, saw a reenactment of an epic battle between Christian and Muslim in which Fray Mutalinia informs us troops from Castilla made up the vanguard with real weapons and standards alongside Indians. In also casting the natives as Moors, the Spanish reveal how much of how Islam continued to affect them in the New World. This popular genre of play has been analyzed by historians as mere cultural hangovers from Spain's Islamic past. However, it can also provide further insights into preoccupations of the Franciscans through their casting of actors and plots, as well as emphasizing the need to assess Spanish behavior in the context of their experiences with Muslims. The continuing tendency for Christians to evoke their Moorish rivals in a range of mediums in the New World reveals the importance of Al-Andalus in the struggle to interpret the nature of the Indians as well as their primary goal of liberating Jerusalem. Clearly, the discourse of similitude, favored by both missionary and soldier alike, is a theme that is not confined to writings of the Spanish, but to a wider range of cultural products than historians have so far admitted. Thus, dramaturgy and architecture can be used to highlight the way in which the Spanish treated the Moors and Indians as the same race. So, if they're being looked at, these Indians, if these Indians are being looked at by the colonists as Moors, if the colonist is looking at them as Moors, because the colonists been somewhere other than the New World. Even the colonists went more parts of the world than these fake Indians, these fake indigenous people. Even the European traveled more of the world than the Indian guy. How you indigenous and you only been on one continent? How? There's no way you're indigenous if you've been on one continent only. If you haven't seen the rest of the world to know that there's other people where you think you're the only one on this great whatever. Need more? Still? All right. So who we riding with for that? I'm riding with Simon Shaw, because that sounds way more credible than what these people are saying, that they're not Moors. But we're not Moors, we're Indians. Well, he's saying that Moors and Indians are the same. They're similar. They're so similar that the Spaniards are using the template that they used to conquer the Moors to come over here and conquer the Indians. Crazy. Who you riding with in the chat? Just put it in the chat. Shaw or the Indian guys? If you're riding with the Indian guys, push the button. We want to know why you're going to ride with them after you hear Shaw say what he's saying. If you got something for what Shaw said, then jump on and state your piece in support of Shaw. Because obviously Simon Shaw has studied. Obviously he's studied. Obviously he's not basing this thing on what his grandma told him. Obviously he's not going with what his grandma told him. He went and got some more information. He went and got more information. He didn't just go with what grandma told him. Right. We are showing you dissertation as our reference point. They're saying their grandma. Who you riding with? Round one. Since people like verses. Since you like verses. Why didn't Sir Francis Drake get a license from the Indians when he left Plymouth to circumnavigate the planet? Why did he get one from the Sultan of Morocco? Right? Why? Why did they go to the Indians? Why didn't they go with the Indians to get the authority? How come they're going with the Sultan of Morocco? And you know, has nothing to do with the dissertation. Has to do with the content of the dissertation. Forget the dissertation and the school and Shah and all that. It's about, he's talking about Moors over here. He's talking about Moors and Indians are the same. Period. These people are trying to convince our people they're not Moors. This is the point of doing this. We don't give a shit about what school this is from, whether he graduated or not, what he's doing now and all that stuff. We don't care. This is about putting on the record that people know about this Moorish history and nothing else. Not Indians in Mesoamerica, not Aboriginal and Indigenous in Mesoamerica, not autochthonous in Mesoamerica, Moors. What's he researching that he found out Moors in America? What's he researching? And why is everybody else not researching and finding this stuff out? What are they debating? If you're saying that you were Indians and you were here, and we're saying that we were Moors and we were here, fine. But you're not gonna play this thing like you're the only ones or something like that. You ain't nobody. You haven't even left North America. Who the hell are you? What do you mean you're somebody? Build a boat. Build me some raft to go down some river. We're talking about go across an ocean right now. Where are you going with that? To go across the ocean? The indigenous people, what? You never even left North America, South America. You never left there, but you're the cream of the crop. The hell out of here! Get out of here!
Big for reparations, man. We can get together right now with the people online, the 31 people that's watching. We are a community,
bro. I have a whole offshore bank.
Go take it from me.
Like legit. People are talking about what have you done for your people, bro. I moved my ass down to Florida with my own dollar, linked up with Cubans. The Cubans, if you know about Cubans down here, they about their business. Linked up with some Cubans with my cannabis stuff, and then he was like, "Yo, I want you to meet my good friend." And then like, come to find out, his good friend is a brother who owns a whole bank. And then 3 years later, I'm in a position to where now I can offer the same exact thing to my people. Now I can I'm setting people up with offshore bank accounts right now with debit cards, with no spending limits, and whatever they able to go pull down their funding. So all this rah-rah, all these Moors be talking about, like, bro, that's why if you ever look at my platform, I talk about money because it takes finance to uplift the nation. We can't make no moves if we just yah all day. Like,
they're relying on Drew Ali with that one because you know they're always gonna pull Drew Ali in to make it seem like he's down with their BS that they're doing. They're always gonna drag him in. They're always how is Noble Drew Ali being mentioned? Because Drew Ali said it takes finance to uplift the nation. And then this turncoat trader is using Noble Drew Ali's quote. You don't have a fez on or anything like that. Right? Never seen him fezzed up or anything. They're always posing. You never see them in a picture with a bunch of children doing something. You always see them posing. And talk about they're doing something for their people because they got them a unlimited debit account. You did something for people? And like we said to everybody else, if it's like that, then you people should just be doing this for everybody. If your travel document works like that, you should be hand delivering people's travel document to them. And then tell me that you're doing something for the people. You know, probably no problem calling them Cuban. So why don't you just call us Moors? Because we already know if you talk to a Cuban, they're going to say Moreno. They're not going to say Negro. You already know they're going to say Moreno. So they're riding on the side with the Moors. They're not playing the Indian BS. They're not Indian. They're Moreno, Morena. No? What are they? They're Indigenous? Or are they Morena, Morena? Interesting. It's interesting. You heard their BS. Page 14. Christian anxiety over the menace of Islam was also great in this period. Continuing Muslim occupation of Iberia and the Holy Land and Ottoman military successes were in the forefront of European minds. The Catholic monarchs had breathed new life into the Reconquista and reaffirmed Christian supremacy. Columbus himself witnessed Spanish royal banners placed by force of arms on the towers of the Alhambra and was deeply affected by the experience. Right? Columbus himself witnessed Spanish royal banners. People never even had a flag because there's only one people with a flag. And you're either under that empire or you're a serf. By force of arms, placed the Spanish royal banners. Remember, this is over there we're talking about. Right? This is what he witnessed. Cristobal. Despite his fixation with obliterating the sect of Muhammad and his ultimate goal of recovering Jerusalem by sailing west, Columbus was fully aware that the Indians he encountered on Hispaniola were not themselves Moors. The Genoese noted that they had no creed and therefore could not be Muslim. Vespucci applied a similar logic. Amongst those people, we did not learn that they had any law, nor can they be called Moors nor Jews, and they are worse than pagans, because we did not observe that they offered any sacrifice, nor even had they a house of prayer. Their manner of living was Epicurean. The explorers' rapid recognition that the natives were not Muslim contradicts the later tendency of soldiers and missionaries to equate Amerindian with Moor, yet perfectly demonstrates the overwhelming impact of Al-Andalus on Spanish epistemology. This habit owned much of a lengthy coexistence with Islam, albeit late medieval Christians had become well accustomed to the characteristics of their neighbors' religious practices. Columbus and Vespucci references to the earthly paradise mark the beginning of an inclination to apply old world knowledge and reason to events that had no precedent. Bernal Diaz, for example, could only describe the wonders of Tenochtitlan through recalling an enchanted vision from the tale of Amadis. His use of a late medieval chivalric romance to describe this first glimpse of things never heard of, never seen, and never dreamed of before is but one instance of how the Spanish sought to transform the New World into a more recognizable place by drawing parallels with the Old World. Listen, there's no way that you could be really riding with the Indians. Like up until now, if you're still swaying to the Indians and this great lie that our people are Indians, when everything points to the old world, everything points to the old world, and the new world being a duplication of the old world. This is according to Europeans. This is according to the colonizer. And that's just what it is. These people are trying to get our people to stay stateless, because the only salvation is nationality. Nothing else is gonna get you out this mess. Nationality, that's it. And this is what we're presenting. We're presenting the backdrop of what this nationality thing. This stuff goes before Noble Drew Ali. This is old world stuff. He said, go back to the ancient foremothers and forefathers mindset, not his mindset. You didn't say, yeah, go back to my mindset. I'm the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, so go back to my mindset. No one else's mindset but mine. That's cultish. But this wasn't some cultish thing. This is not some cultish thing. You know this is not some cultish thing. Why in the War of 1812 there was a Negro fort flying a red flag? And when you research the red flag, it goes back to the Alawite dynasty of 1666, which is part of the Moroccan Empire. And everybody knows Negro fort was Seminoles. So if the Negro fort was Seminoles, and Seminoles are indigenous people, and then indigenous people that were brought together, they ain't no Seminole tribe, that's a fiction. Seminoles are a confederation of other Indian guys. who weren't getting anywhere doing that Indian stuff, so he did some new Indian stuff. And then the Seminoles got a red flag up there. And then they called it a Negro fort, when everybody knows that those are Seminoles. Everybody knows those are Seminoles. Why are they calling them Negro? Oh, because that's synonymous with Moor, just like Indian synonymous with Moor, and Berber synonymous with Moor, and Muslim synonymous with Moor, and Muslim synonymous with Moor, and Moroccan synonymous with Moor, and Mauritanian synonymous with Moor, and ancient Egyptian synonymous with Moor, and colored synonymous with Moor, African synonymous with Moor, Malian is synonymous with Moor. That is synonymous with Moor. If everything's synonymous with Moor, wouldn't that mean that Moor and all these things that are synonymous with, these are the same people? And like we say, all this stuff, all this work that we're putting in, hours of studying and all this, is for ourselves. You're lucky if you have some sincere and care about you Moors that's gonna build with you, have a conversation with you. You know what I mean? You know, take time out of their day being a Moor to impart some wisdom to you. You should be honored, bowing to their feet. The real ones, not a fake bowing that the black guys have, the white guys do. Talk about the honor bowing. Because the Moor gave you 2 minutes of their time, much less if they give you an hour or two. We're not talking about these consultation people either. No, sincere Moors who know about their nationality and birthrights, and they'll build with somebody. They don't fee for that. We're looking at the ones who want to know. The great debaters and these people, they are serving no purpose other than target practice. Pinata. Right? That's what they're used for. That's what they're used for. So we can get this info to those who want it. Don't want it? They don't care. They don't care about them. When they start doing stuff like, you know, calling Drew Ali's name and talking crazy about nationality and birthrights, but they would never do that to Buddha. They would never do that. They might do that to Jesus. They'll talk shit about Jesus or whatever. But they'll never talk BS about any of these other people's prophets and gods. That they wouldn't have one word for them. Come to Drew Ali, oh, they're talking crazy. And then even though we talk crazy, even though they talk crazy, and we take their crazy and beat them in the head with it, like the Moors been doing, letting you know that the circus is even our stuff. Don't get caught up in the wild, wild west build Indian on the horse shooting at the cowboy messed up with the stuff going on in the circus. That's two different things. Don't even get it twisted. Don't even get it confused. Don't even try to mix truth and falsehood. Because we're letting you know now that we're embracing it all. We're letting you know we're embracing it all right now. Right? You know, we're letting you know. Let's go back to Shaw in this thing, because those dudes and anybody else talking crazy. Juali's the man. FOH to you for talking crazy. And know, without a shadow of a doubt, know that just like all these other people are getting theirs and it's public. Remember, all these people getting their whatever. They talked against Noble Juali and talked against Moorish for a long time. Don't think people are going nuts, pouring Sprite on themselves like Jodeci and stuff like that. They think that it's not the Prophet and Allah and everybody else kicking these people's ass right now. Right? And what are they going to do? They're going to go bend over so they can get their little whatever, so they can come back out with a new banner and a new background and a new interior of the car and all that stuff and look like, yes, back to normal. Don't let these sold people play you out of your birthright. And then have you coming back here, and then you got to deal with goddamn AI everything and trannies everywhere or whatever. And you're mad that you're back here because your ass didn't learn this time. When trannies running everything, when you come back here next time, you're kicking yourself like, I should have listened to Cujo in the last life. Should have listened to the Moors. I should have listened to the Moors in the last life. I should have. But I didn't. So I'm back. And all there are is android girls. There's no women anymore. Every woman's android. Metal breasts. That's what you get. So you didn't follow the program. That's what you get. So keep playing like you don't want to hear what Moors are saying. No, we're not gonna tell you. Don't debate us. Go talk to Shaw. Go talk to Simon. Page 15. Even a reading of Persian, Roman, and Greek histories could not prepare Francisco de Aguilar for such abominable forms of worship as they offer to the devil in this land. Such statements suggest that the religious and military propensities of the natives were of interest but not comparable to those of the Moors. The native practices of sacrifice and idolatry were just two of many conspicuously non-Muslim tendencies which were a focus of much early comment. Nonetheless, many of those who fought in the New World had also shed blood ridding Spain of Islam and were deeply affected through this process. St. James, nicknamed Matamoros because of his anti-Islamic nature, was regardedly induced against the Indians with shouts of Santiago. Pedro de Alvarado also assigned to Aztec warriors the title of infidel, a derogatory term that had become a byword on the Iberian Peninsula for Moor. Cortes placed an image of the Blessed Mother atop a tower to inspire his troops, echoed victorious Spanish soldiers entering the city of Granada in file behind an image of the Virgin Mary. Such similarity in their military approaches and attitudes toward their opponents can partly account for a later blurring in distinctions made between Muslim and Indian. The conquistadors' lack of relevant vocabulary meant that for many, connecting their experience in the Americas to those of Iberia was the only method of rationalizing their thoughts. Shrubbery that was green like the orchards of Valencia in March was soon incorporated into a wider framework of interpretation. The Great Plaza of Salamanca became a benchmark for evaluating town squares across the Aztec Empire. One soldier noted that the Mesoamerican countryside was similar to Spain in that it has almost the same kind of mountains, valleys, and fields. His use of the word almost belies an awareness of the clear shortcomings in such an assessment. Yet these Europeans could not help but draw such parallels. A land entirely unlike their own nation became New Spain, whilst many American cities were named after settlements in Spain, such as Cordoba and Medellin. I think Shaw's ahead by a good bit. And he's not done. Shaw's not done. Shaw's not done. Shaw is just getting started on these fakers, these fake indigenous people. He's just getting started. He thought it was a blowout. We're just getting warmed up. We're just getting warmed up. Let's run the score up now. Let's run the score up time. Let's embarrass them in their own gym. Let's embarrass them in their own gym. The gym is the subject matter, Aboriginal and Indigenous stuff. And we're going to embarrass them in their own gym. Everybody's getting breakaways. Do something good. Do something good. Curiously, many of these reference points were taken from areas subjected to heavy Moorish influence. Cortez, in describing the marketplace of the Aztec capital, compares it at different times to Cordoba, Seville, and Granada. For another conquistador, it was Tlaxcala that was in some ways like Granada, while Mexico's abundant foliage reminded some of Almeria's surrounding areas. Awareness that these towns contained pagans may have provoked the Spanish to correlate them with the cities that were once Moorish strongholds, whilst the need to orient themselves through finding similarities to Spain is unsurprising. Such an approach paved the way for the inhabitants of these urban areas to be referred to as Moors in many written documents. It can be argued that the Spanish insistence on converting the New World into the likeness of the Old World and their inclination to associate Mexican rural and urban areas with former parts of Al-Andalus was part of a trend that will culminate in their correlation of Muslim with Indian. At times, specific customs and appearance of the natives remind the Spanish of their more familiar non-Christian foe. To Catholics, the Indians' polygamy was reminiscent of Muslims and the hallmark of an infidel. One warrior exclaimed that they have as many wives as they can support, like the Moors. For a Spaniard who was one of the first into the they have as many wives as they can support, like the Moors. They have many wives as they can support, like the Moors. Right, for all the polygamy people out there. 1/6 and all that. They can have as many wives as they can support, like the Moors. Not like the Indian, whatever. Not like the Autochthonous or the Indigenous. Like the Moors. Because the people that they saw over across the Atlantic where they came from, when they came over here, it was the exact same thing. How are those Indians? How is it Moorish on both sides of the hemisphere? Where is the architecture? Where is the language? Whether it's how the people looked, how the people dressed. Everything's Moorish, but oh yeah, no, those are Indians, and then those are Moors over there, only in Africa. That's not logic at all. That's not logic. But we're gonna play them for a bit, since we heard some from our boy. Hear what they're saying for a bit. I'll be back. And again, you got anything to put in the pot? You know, it's bubbling. It's bubbling right now. Got anything to put in the pot? But yeah, it's actually Moorish everything. This Indian stuff is dead in the water.
My thing is, okay, the Moors got all this science. They know about all these 501c3s. They know about they are 501c3s. They know about all of these situations.
The original temple was not. It was filed underneath Illinois compiled statutes. It is an 805 under the 805 Curtis Convention. So they don't even have the original temple structure that Drew Ali had. They all have.
Things take off a certain way, you know, when times change. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
No, they literally have the ability to set things up the same exact way he did, but they're going to go get 501c3s, bro. They move it differently.
Okay. That's because they government. But at the same time, I'm just gonna say, like, if we have the ability to sit and talk to the people about funding and trust and the way things are really working. See, the thing is that it's a trust is a conversation, right? And they don't want to give people full disclosure about this trust situation. So they mask it as identity and nationality. And these people come together and get you membership cards and lock you and your family into trust, where these people are the sole beneficiaries of basically everything that you and your family gonna prosper and get. At the end of the day, that shit go to them and they people, because there's leaders of this trust, and there's trustees, and there's beneficiaries, and there's all of this type of shit. And that's what then hit this community and these people real hard. And now we got
trust law, you dead on.
Now we got people that's sitting up here because of nationality, changing their name to Bay, joining these fake ass imaginary tribes, getting locked into trust. But when we can get full disclosure of trust, when we can actually trust one another, this is a benefit. But not like this. Not like this at all. Not without full disclosure, not without the truth. And this more shit is a whole nother conversation besides that. But that sovereignty and that trust shit, they got mixed in it, and they fucking us up. And that's what it is. These niggas want to put everybody in a trust, and we're going to protect our people off that, which they can. They know the law. They can do that. But why not give the people full disclosure? Let's not do this shit as a religion. Let's do it as a community base to put us in a position, because our people did that. But why?
Make a statement on that point. The religious point. The main reason why they utilize the religious point is because if you always hear more speak, they always try to throw the Constitution in there, even though the Constitution is for who? Americans, U.S. citizens, American nationals. That shit not necessarily for foreigners. They try to tie themselves in through the Sunday Moors Act. So they use the religion as a protection mechanism. Because during the time when things was happening, motherfuckers was getting fucked up out here. Remember, early 1900s, shit was not cool over here.
Fucked up, and that's a fact, man. Like people don't know people did things when time changed. You know what I'm saying? We joined certain religions. Right now, you got people joining Islam. You know, they over there with Farrakhan, they finding themselves, but it's built off hate. It's built off hate for people because of another color, and the color thing goes as such. We have people passing for white. So what are the people that's passing for white? What are they? Because they look like crackers when I go back into these archive books and I look into these things. They look like crackers. Where the fuck is our people? And who is all our people? We don't know unless you're doing genealogy, and I'm not talking blood, but I'm talking paperwork. You don't know. You talking about I was a slave. Nigga, you was the slave owner.
Bro, they really have an issue with you using the word Indian because they feel like it's a misnomer.
If that's
the case,
we gonna break it down. It comes for them. You know, you about to come out here and explain to you exactly what you need to know, and you can come on, bro, if you want to. You know what I'm saying, and be respectful. You feel what I'm saying, and be respectful, bro. And we'll let you. Hold on, let me send him the.
Who you talking about, bro? Who you talking
about? Let you explain what you got. Whoever that is, Bloodline Moors.
Oh, Bloodline Moors.
Because I don't think you
are. You a Bloodline Moor? Do you have evidence that you are tied into the L3 group? I'm a Moor by blood. Y'all are making claims that y'all can't prove, and I've heard other Moors say that you have an inherent right to make these claims because of your complexion. Bitch, if that's the case, Nigerians can say whatever the fuck they want to be. Australians can be whatever the fuck they want to be. Bro, you are who you are. You motherfucker. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, bro. Like,
but everybody
we can do whatever we want as a child.
Don't understand.
I think that's where y'all took this shit to the left, bro.
Yeah, it's a law. You get the right to self-identify. It's the law of America, and that's okay.
But that's what they still does not mean. That's what everybody takes part. Bro, just
that
because
don't mean that's who you are.
I pissed a couple motherfuckers off. Just because Walter Bristler potentially changed his name to Drew Ali, then Noble Drew Ali. That doesn't mean that motherfucker not Walter Bristler. Using that as an example. But you understand? Just because it's JV, that don't mean he ain't who he is. Peace, Tony.
Hey, what's happening? Good morning. Appreciate y'all presence. How's everything?
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that email too, bro.
I really want you to address this Indian name because they steady attacking. You addressed it already, we know, bro. But it's more Moors. It's more and more Moors every day that want to know why we don't use the Moor and why we use the Indian. Why is that? If you can answer that for me.
That word.
Well, without I don't have my references in front of me while I say this, but in the most simplest terms, Indian originally derived from Indios. Okay? Indios in India. This is what the Spanish Jesuits, when they first got here, right? Back in the 15th century, this is one of the terms in which they used to describe our American people back then. And it stuck. It is held firm to this day. All right? Indio literally means, when you translate it, first and foremost, God within. Okay? That's what they identified our American people as having. What they consider God, they see God within us. The way we live naturally in harmony with nature, so on and so forth. Versus how the Moors was living, right? They straight raw, savage, barbaric type people. Where they come from.
Stop lying. Liar. These damn liars. These damn liars. Oh, there's a good one. Please, more.
Islam, Morris.
What's good? Oh my gosh, they playing with him already. That was fast. That was fast. They didn't even wait to say no way. No way. They got him out of here. He got the hook. That's crazy. Yeah, these dudes are on. These dudes are tripping. Let's see if he gets back in. He'll be back, I'm sure. Let's go back to see what Shaw's saying, because these dudes are jokers. For a Spaniard who was one of the first into the Aztec capital, the architecture of the two peoples appeared so similar that he momentarily forgot where he was. He counted 190 towers, including mosques, and noticed that inside the mosque there were fountains. His captain, Hernan Cortez, could have been describing the Sultan's palace of the Alhambra in Granada when talking of Moctezuma's very beautiful house, with a large patio laid with pretty tiles in the manner of a chessboard. Indeed, it can be said that Cortez treated Moctezuma throughout his narrative as though he were a Muslim prince. Oh, that's not enough? Oh, okay. Correspondingly, the urban dwelling Aztec elite were frequently compared to the appearance of Muslim kings. Fernandez de Oviedo recalls an indigenous ruler whose headdress resembled an almezar. A-L-M-A-I-Z-A-R. A-L-M-A-I-Z-A-R. G-A-R. A-L-M-A-I-Z-A-R. Almezar. Almezar. Moorish clothing. These include woolen caps called gifara, G-H-I-F-A-R-A, which were usually dyed bright. Over their shoulders, apart from the turban, which was called almezar. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Fernandez de Oviedo recalls an indigenous ruler whose headdress resembled an almezar turban. Juan Diaz also commented on the Moorish silks that were worn by many among the Aztec leadership. Why are they wearing Aztec silks? Why are the Aztecs wearing Moorish silks? Why are the Aztecs wearing Moorish silks? Moorish silks, not Aztec silks, not Indian silks. How come not Indian silks even? Why not Indian silks? Aboriginal indigenous silks? No. No. All right. All right, I guess. Whilst there were a limited number of similarities in the practices of the Moors and the Indians, the frequency of comparisons between the two is astonishing. These sources can be used to explore Spanish epistemological paradigms, reflecting their determination to treat the New World in the same way as they treated events in the Old World. Writings that contain passages alluding to Indians that resemble Muslims are part of a wider predisposition to failing to grasp the nature of the inhabitants of the Americas and the significance of Columbus's discovery. Page 30. The use of Al-Andalus as a reference point for describing Indian customs and landscapes was to a large extent derived from the Spanish prophetic tradition that laid such importance on Islam. Spanish visual representations of Islamic culture in architectural and dramaturgical forms were products of both their apocalyptic mindsets and of the discourse of similitude, which relied on references to Islam to explain extraordinary occurrences in the New World. The Europeans went so far as to treat Indians in much the same way they had treated their Muslim adversaries of old, employing administrative tools previously used to declare and justify war during the Reconquista. Alfonso X, Siete Partidas, was an important statutory code compiled in the 13th century that provided Christians with a blueprint for conduct in an era of military success against the Muslims. Siete Partidas, Sietepartidas. The source will be used in order to demonstrate how Alfonso's ideas endured in another period of Christian expansion on a different continent and against a new pagan enemy. The discovery of the New World heightened millennial expectations and so increased the urgency of the Christians' fight against Islam. It also challenged the Spanish to find pre-existing models for what they found there. The relevance of Al-Andalus in Mesoamerica does not reflect so much on nostalgia vis-a-vis the Moors, but instead highlights a key facet in Spain's self-perception and is a direct consequence of epistemological links made between natives and Muslims. I don't know how much the hell you need. I don't know how much you need to realize that it's about the Moorish paradigm and where that information is going, nowhere else. Because we already know everybody else been lying. So all you got left is the indigenous stuff or the Moorish thing. That's all you got left. The indigenous thing is not going to work because, as you see, it has not worked. And the Moorish stuff has been buried for 100 years. So what do you mean you got options? Wouldn't it be wise just to dig up the stuff that was buried and see what that's saying? Because last time you heard of that was that having 700 years rule. What Negroes done? Tell me something that black guys did. Tell me something that the native Indian whoever's did. That they got some time frame that's credible, that qualifies them. Moors, we could say we got 700 years Spain. What you guys got? But we got ancient Egypt. No, you can't, because Egypt gave the stuff to the Moors, so you can't say you got ancient Egypt. Because the Moors are the custodians of all the ancient knowledge. So who are you claiming? Before you can't. There's nobody to claim before the Moors. Remember, it circumnavigated the globe. I'm just limited to some Europe only. Page 31. An important reason for the reliance on a discourse of similitude was that the papacy, on whose behalf the Spanish were colonizing the new lands, was unable to see anything new in Spain's New World enterprise. This led to laws and documents being issued which confirmed that America was a continuation of the New World. The Spanish Pope Alexander VI bestowed on Isabella and Ferdinand the title of Catholic monarchs and issued them with a series of papal bulls that legitimized their claims to American territories. And then these Indians just did nothing? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. They have their position. They had their position. Allen Galley, the Indian slave trade. Allen Galley, Gallay. The Indian slave trade. Page 84. The Scot was instructed to set up warning beacons on various sea islands to be manned by the Yamasee. 1 fire for 1 Spanish galley, 2 for 2, and 3 for more than 2. Dunlop also was to bribe individual Indians to spy on the Spanish and to reconnoiter Spanish activities south of the Savannah River. We know what their job was. You know what their job was. Still their job today. Still their job today. You think when they're in the back, thumbs downing? When they're in the back, thumbs downing and not making any comments. They're sitting there in the back, thumbs downing. They're spying. They're taking notes. Some might be sneak studying. But we already have your record. Indian slave trade. Allen Galley. We know about you people. We know what you did, Indians. You playing Indians. We know what you did, Indians. We know exactly what you did. In 1693, Governor Smith summoned the coastal Indians to discuss the return of runaways. Why are the Indians trying to discuss terms of runaways and all that? The government envisioned the Indians' role as both police force and border patrol. That's who the first Homeland Security was. Guess who the first Homeland Security was? The damn Indians. The same ones telling you what grandma said. The genealogy. And then they come out of genealogy and then they don't have any El Bay, Day, Al, Ali, nothing. You know who they are. We know what they did. Importantly, the government still considered local Indians as part of Carolina society, not external to it. for at the same meeting, the governor proposed that Indians be taxed according to population. The natives would bring in wolves, tigers, or bearskins as payment. The bill, as passed, condescendingly noted how, for several years past, the colony had provided the quote-unquote Indian nations who inhabited the province with clothes and all sorts of tools necessary for making their provisions, and had protected and defended them from their enemies at our trouble, expense of time, and charges by our forces. The settlement Indians, according to this law, have to hitherto been any ways useful or serviceable, except when individuals were rewarded. It was time for the settlement Indians to pull their own weight. One wonders just exactly who the government thought it was protecting the settlement Indians from. Indians from the north posed a threat, but the greater threat came from the Indian slave catchers in alliance with the colony. Did the colony feel that it alone protected settlement Indians from enslavement? The government duly noted that settlement Indians had voluntarily offered to be obliged to kill the animals requested, but declined to state why the assembly needed a coercive law. Forcing Indians to volunteer their labor seems reminiscent of the logic of enslaving only those Indians who had freely chosen bondage over death. We know what you guys did. While you're sitting here talking about Moors are the sellouts, while the Aztec, the Mayan, the Peruvian, the whatever empires that were over here, everybody saw them and said, oh, the Moors. Oh, they're Moorish silks. Oh, they got Moorish turbans on. Oh, they're the Moorish hat, Moorish dress. Oh, they're Moorish earrings. They're Moorish. And you're telling me about some Indians? Well, we just told you. Go get the Indian slave trade. Allen Galley. And he'll let you know how they sold out. Just like they're selling you out right now, trying to convince you that you're not Moors. You're something else.
You see what I'm saying? Completely different types of people here.
But India is over there. Like, how do you explain that?
India just was directed over there because prior to it being known commercially as India, it was always known as Hindustan / Bharat.
So that would make the Hindustan performer, Walter Briston of the circus, he was copying a real Hindu Indian people from India today, which was Hindustan. That's what the Hindustan.
And he was known, and that's why he was known as a Hindu fakir performer.
Oh, meet the Fockers. Meet the Fockers. And he said, it don't mean those without God. India don't mean those without God, bro.
So Tomahawk Tony, that means Indian is a word the same as Moor. It's an idiom or an exonym, correct?
Stop lying. Indian comes from Los Indios. Indian comes from Los Sin Dios. Vatican made that up. Go do your research on Indian, and they'll tell you that it comes from Los Indios. Losindios, which is a corruption of Los Sin Dios, which means those without God, which is why we read the stuff earlier while they said, oh no, we can't compare the Indians to the Moors because the Indians don't have a God. They're savages. They don't give sacrifices. They don't do like the Moors, have rituals and stuff like that. These people are just savages. in relation. That's why the quote unquote, we're different. But we're the same people. One of them is a savage running around the place with nothing on, and then one of them's wearing silks and has boats and is traveling the world. These individuals talking are the TP people. These are the ones who stayed in North America. They don't know anything else going on in the world. All they know is North America. So already their scope is limited. So which disqualifies them from being indigenous people, because indigenous people would be indigenous everywhere. The Moors are the only group of people that are everywhere. You're not going to find Indians in Australia. You'll find Maori there, though. You're not going to find Indians in Europe. You'll find Moors there, though. And they're going to have the Moors dressed like Indians. But they're not going to call them Indians. They're going to call them Moors. You need to stop being like your leader, whoever's, and stop putting coke in your weed. Stop putting coke in your weed. Right? Just stop doing it. Because you're frying your brain cells. And you're not thinking sane. Or you're just a sellout and a traitor. And if that's the case, then hey, do your thing. We're gonna get the ones who we could get. And that's all we're concerned about, no one else. And somebody just sent me a picture of Lil Nas X pregnant. So just in case you thought it wasn't over already. Right? Just in case you thought it wasn't over already. Right? So Lil Nas X is pregnant, y'all. And all that because you want to ride with the Indian guys. See what they got? See what they have going on? Remember, these same people talk about butthurt and all that stuff. These are the same ones touching children and watching gay porn and all that. If you're gonna watch any porn, you gotta be man on man, woman on woman. That's the only porn. That's what you get. Because you've been following the traders. So now this is what you gotta deal with. You gotta deal with these jokers. You gotta deal with being taxed to death. You gotta deal with, forget taxed to death. You can't even go to the store to buy anything without lining up for 2 hours. But all that's because you didn't want to do what the Moors said. And everybody knows. Once the Moors leave, place falls to shit. Everybody knows that's what happens. I hear what the Moors saying, so all right. Honors to all the Moors. I think Shaw did a good job. Give thanks to Shaw for repping properly. Oh, last one. Forgot. Page 39. Moors reappeared whenever the Spanish tried to describe their surroundings or rationalize the practices of the natives. In invoking Santiago, declaring war on the natives, and creating policies to govern them, they were recreating events of the Reconquista and inadvertently fighting the same enemy as their forefathers. The logical outcome was a failure to differentiate between Muslim and Indian, which extended as far as treating the natives as Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers, anywhere that you're at. Supreme honors to you. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. All honors to the El Bays, Days, Als, Alis, everybody else out there. Supreme honors to the Prophet. He's the man. Islam.
This that new batch.
Telling you shit the numbers though. I like counting, man. Learn to count and stuff. Ancestors, man.
Pro bono, publico, pro facto, pro indefenso. We that do things, tramp on top of B-man. Sounds like an E-flat, quattro, doors, a blaze with my circle. In bold, my C-circle, king's back. But not that high, I'm a bee, but I'm not that fly. Bucking you, I'm not that kind. Look like a mean mug, what did that do? Try to relax you, let your feet hover, fall off your path at the least suck you. I didn't mean that, you said you needed intensive care. I got the weed back, caught 10 bags of your head. You said you need that, with the tail, I brought the whole steed. Giddy up, wasn't funny, what you call money, bring the green back, but greed is always left intact. Papa, pro bono, et malo, pro indefenso, pro
bono, progress need no promo. Brainwashed by TV programs, no, proclaim lower self, project higher than rockets. Profound like fork tongues in sockets. Protection lacking, project in a direction away from blacking or be lacking. In a zombie procession, most profession keep you from progressing, denying due processing. Prosecutor wants no impropria persona in full life or obia. Prodigal son, nautical, astronomical one. All pro, never implausible, cause probable. Proactive, not passive, mind's captive. Problem, children angry and hyperactive. Needs more probiotic. Pro-black is pro-death. I'm pro-seeds and process. Pro-democracy, Mars keep me perplexed. Not hearing innocence, Kirkman Bays, Mars profess. Seating no Mars in the back with no protest. Spiritual work is in progress.
Speaking pro is best, a point I emphasize, no stress. Meaning attend to what is or is to be, but it's not less. Communications a test and verbally I express my progress and high probability for profit we opt to get. Opportunities that set our plots in check. To apply the domino effect, a story connects. More important than the past project, hence we document the step correct when we reflect. Plus self-respect to the tech, which really focus on growth. Just what it is and we use the theme of this verse, so take note. I proactively promote the quotes that I wrote when enlightened. Stimulating my spirit to be one more great from inciting. Affirmations that heighten implementation and writing. Healthy reminders inciting the common minded to fighting. Or more like a dance, the mental train. Or what I'm saying, like Coach Nim said, it's often the weak that complain.
Pro bono, publico, pro facto, pro indefenso.
Pro bono, progress need no promo. Brainwashed by TV programs, no.
Speaking pro is best with my progress project. I proactively promote the quotes that I wrote.